I'm Steve Bell with StartupTrek TV, and we're with John DeGoes, who's the Chief Technical Officer and the Acting CEO of ReportGrid. John, welcome to StartupTrek TV. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Tell us, what problem is ReportGrid solving?
Well, it turns out that about half of all software as a service applications, technology platforms, and web services need to provide their customers with analytics and reporting. Very insightful, rich things that they can find by logging into a customer dashboard. And right now, the options are so limited that most companies are building stuff on top of open source. But that means they need to become experts at big data technologies like HBase, HDFS, Zookeeper, MapReduce, and then they need to build layers and layers of code on top of these open source components until they reach their way all the way up to the end user. And as a result, as a result, companies are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, in some cases millions of dollars, to build a solution. And then they need a staff of full-time Google caliber engineers to maintain that solution going forward.
Now, the format here at StartupTrek is the 3-minute interview, and we do 60 seconds per question. But let me extend question one with a 30-second question. Can you give our viewers out in StartupTrek TV land an example of what you mean by analytics?
So here's a couple of examples. Salesforce.com. Manager there wants to see deal flow and performance of employees. MailChimp. If you're using MailChimp, you want to see who's opening my email and what's common about them, how can I increase open rates and stuff like that. Okay. So it turns out it's a very common problem. Bitly, MailChimp,
anything on the web almost needs this.
Half of all applications, web applications, need this.
Yeah, big problem you're solving.
Huge.
So John, tell us how ReportGrid came together.
Well, I know about the pain firsthand because I actually solved it at a previous company. We were building a display advertising platform that had social, dynamic, creative, and lots of other cool features. But one of the things that we needed was to give advertisers real-time analytics on their advertising campaigns. And we never wanted to build it, but there wasn't anything out there we could use. So I ended up taking a third of my engineering team, the best third, and sticking them on that problem for nearly a year before we got to something.
So you encountered this problem and you started to solve it. And
yes.
became aware of how big it was of a problem.
But not before we had burned through hundreds of thousands and sucked up, a third of my team for a year's worth of time.
Our last question is, what do you think is really unique about ReportGrid as a startup company?
So there are lots of companies out there that do analytics or reporting or analytics and reporting, but it turns out that nearly all of them are in this space of business intelligence. So they tend to be desktop-based tools, in some cases web tools, that would be used by data analysts to answer questions about that company's own internal data. Yeah. You can't easily take a BI tool like Cognos and stick it in your product to power analytics and reporting for the users who are paying you for your product.
It doesn't have the APIs and it's not designed to bolt on.
It doesn't have the APIs and it's not embeddable and customizable and skinnable inside your own product, and that's why ReportGrid is unique.
Do your customers have to use a certain development platform, or are there just open APIs that they...
So that's right, we have a REST API, which can be called from any language, and then we have a growing library of different client libraries that you can use in common languages like PHP and Ruby, etc. And you just build your solution in any language you want on top of our REST API.
Great. Now, for our viewers out there in StartupTrek TV land, John, tell them where they should go to read up on what you're doing.
Well, www.reportgrid.com would be the primary source.
Is there a lot of information on there?
There is a small amount of information, but it's growing, and we're in the middle of completely redesigning the website. And it's going to be a lot more developer-friendly with a ton of developer documentation and a forum on there and other good stuff to get people started using the platform.
Well, obviously, congratulations are in order because you're in the top of the class for the 600 applicants to this year's TechStars in Boulder. So
thank you. It was an exciting thing. Thanks.